moment, I'm not in the startup competition. This is a workshop, so you can just relax and sit back. And as you see in the title, this is a digital character creation in animation, so I'm completely outsider of this world. But I will show a lot of stuff to what I have done in 24 years in animation industry. Is that okay? Mic is fine? Okay. So my name is HIDETAKA YOSUMI. I'm a founder of the studio Nowake in Tenerife island in Spain. And as I said, I have working on animation for 24 years in different studios. And this is, as I say, I'm running a lot today. This is all new for me because I'm from animation industry. But that could be this talk I'm gonna do, this workshop, half an hour, can be applied to the metaverse because I was working on creating a digital character for 24 years. So to introduce myself, this is a project, film project, a video game project I have worked on. On the top 3 is from the Disney, and bottom is a video game, Final Fantasy, and also the independent production film. And these 4 years, all the project I have worked is Netflix project. And Netflix is actually it's not doing very well right now, but Netflix is saving the animation industry. There are so many good projects in Netflix. Okay. So for the animation film or the metaverse, the same, you need a good story to tell the audience, right? And also you need a good visual to get attract. This is most important for me. You need a good characters in your product. The movie, metaverse, or any kind of the product you imagine, you have these 3. And I'm doing this, creating the characters in animation industry for a long time. So I'm gonna show some test case from this project. Maybe some of them watched this movie. This is Tangled from the Disney Animation Studio. It's a 2010. It's almost more than 10 years ago. And I was, what I'm in charge of this project is I was in charge of this hair. I was a hair technical director. I was in charge of creating the hair pipeline for this Rapunzel long hair. I'm gonna show you that why. So hair is a big challenge for animation, especially 10 years ago from now. Hair was just the post-process after animation's done. After animation's finished, you put some nerve curve on the top of the head, then dynamics. Hair never tells the story. But look at this woman's hair is really important for their identity. And Rapunzel was the same. Hair was one of the part of the character, part of the storytelling. And she has a 22 meters long hair. And she's not the typical Disney princess who is just waiting for white prince to save her out of the tower. She's actually really active. She wants to get out the world. Also, she has an interaction. She's always touching the hair, using the hair. So that was taboo. Those things taboo like 10 years ago in the animation film. But now we have this character, we have to do it. So when you have some challenge, even this is like an imaginary virtual world in animation, you have to observe the real world. So we invited long hair lady in the studio and then capture and asking her running around. So this is a Disney animation, which everything is imaginary, but we always try to observe the real world. Okay. And also we asked her to put the hair on the stairs because we knew 22 lengths of the hair, most of them on the floor. So we want to see how hair reacts. Okay. Then now we observe the real world. Next, do you know this Glen King? Maybe you don't know if you're not animation. No. Glen King is the legendary animator at the Disney Animation Studio. He designed the Tarzan, Little Mermaid. Also, he's the creator of the Rapunzel. So after you observe the real world, now you need artistic input. So he gave us series of a drawing. He said, hey, I think the Rapunzel hair should be like this. So we called the hair Bible. So we always check this drawing whenever you do in the hair on the movie. So I want to show everything. So he said that you have to see the twist, you have to see the reverse, and you have to feel the weight and volume. It's not just straight and flat on the floor. You have to see the volume like a snake. And you have to see the mass, weight. And this is always said in animation. You have to have a rhythm. Rhythm in animation, rhythm in the drawing, and the S curve and the C curve. And this is something very interesting. He told me, you see that this hair on the ground, you can tell the story. You can see where the Rapunzel started and wandering. So putting the hair on the floor, you can tell the story. This is kind of mind-blowing for us. And he said you have to break up and grateful finish. Okay, so now we have artistic input. Then we need to do the research and development, technology help. And this is a physical bending model 10 years ago. When you have a curly hair, we have always a straight hair and put the texture with the curvy hair. But because of that, we need to have a physical react in the hair, so we have to have this real curvy hair model. This was kind of the new. And also the hair constraint collision. So if you can, Rapunzel has 22 meters. If you have a 22 meters hair dynamic to the computer, you cannot finish the dynamics. So we only have a 126 curve on the head. If you have only 120, you have too much space, so you can get like a lose volume. But we have this kind of the collision and keep the volume. This is very technical. Also, we created a simulation model, very stability when the hair is on the floor, not moving, woozy all the time. And this is a hair sim blend. This is like a final. To get this, like you see this nice shape of the hair, and everything is simulated. If you simulate from the top to the 22 meter, you lose the body, you lose the shape. So we did two different simulations. One is the top to the bottom, top to the end of the legs. So this one is the stay. So keep the shapes. This one is a simulation from the 22 meter. Then at the end we blend. So we use this kind of the technique a lot. And this is a very old Maya UI. This is like a real-time hair simulation dynamic system. If you see the time stays. So it's like a non-time based dynamic system. So I'm gonna show some short breakdown. This is a animation phase. Her hair is just a geometry. And this is like supposed to be her hair, but it's rigged. Then next, we're gonna have some artistic direction. Okay, now we have this simulation dynamics stage. So we create some fake geometry to collide easily. Okay. Then this is the final in the film. So she was touching and some of the reaction. Okay, next one is, you know what it is. So Rapunzel is here, and from here to here, supposed to be her hair. And this is a hair rigging. We rig the hair. So I will show you the process. So now we see the Rapunzel. We're gonna do the layout of the hair using this real-time drawing the hair system. Okay, once you like the layout, you can create more detail to reverse, pinch that Glenn Keane told us to do, like breakups. Then this is the final. Okay, so that's the kind of the extreme example of the character, which is the hair. And next case example is this is a Netflix project. It's called Love, Death, and Robot. This one is the season 1, episode 3, The Witness. So those people who haven't watched, so I show you the clip of this episode. There's no audio? So the witness and he just murdered was the same person. Okay, so this is Love, Death, and Robot season 1. If you haven't watched, go to the Netflix and try to watch, please. And I was in charge of the character supervisor on this project. By the way, this director, Alberto Miergo, who won the Oscar this year for the Academy and for the short film he made. So I show you this process, how we create these characters. Always start with the design. This is Alberto Miergo's design, amazing drawing. He's a Spanish director, the genius guy. It's amazing. By the way, Love, Death, and Robot is not animation. Is not for kids. It's for adults. So we model using the ZBrush. We really focus on the detail. And all the clothes, we used a Marvel's Designer, which is designed, this software designed for the fashion industry. But because of you can create this kind of the complex layered clothes, we used Marvel's Designer, not only tailor, but also dynamics in the shot. And this is the shading, the look depth, texture. And this is a lighting test. And this is the hair. We made it with the XGen in Maya. And this is the dynamics test. Now it's the rigging part. We did a rig, and you can see that because of she's going to the naked in the episode, so we had to fix so many shapes. It's called the corrective shapes, 100 of them. This is the test animation when she start dancing. Okay. So you're not familiar with the 3D production pipeline. So there's a three-part. Top is the pre-production. Pre-production is about design of the story and the characters. Production is something you actually do. Creating the asset and creating the pixels. And post-production is after you got all the pixels, you can fix or you can enhance something using the 2D, editing the pixels. So my expertise is this part, R&D, modeling, texture, rigging, animation, and VFX. So that's the character development we have to go through. So this diagram is kind of the how to create the asset more detailed way. There's a two part. One left is the shot pipeline, and right is the asset pipeline. Shot pipeline is when you create the pixels on the screen. Right is you're creating the asset, like a 3D asset, props. Character props, environment effects, right? Then, as I want to more point out is rigging. So I don't think none of the people here knows about rigging, but rigging is very, very important process. And what's the rig? This is I got this picture from the Adobe Mixamo website. So you have a design and create in the model, which is A pose or T pose, doesn't move. Then rig, you define the skeleton, bone structures, and how to deform the skin. So this is a rigging. After rigging, you can animate. You can make action. Character get personality. So rigging is very technical, but it's not only technical. Rigging is a part of the character design. If you have a bad rig on the screen, character looks horrible. So this is from the Little Prince film I worked on, from design to 3D character, how shift from the 2D to clay model, then 3D model. To even making the 3D model, this is from the version 01. First, this production took 1.5 to create the entire film. So now it's a version 77. So we never stop fixing the shape. We never stop improving this character until we are really, really happy in the model. So we did a lot of iteration, try and error. When you find some problem, you fix it. Okay. So it was a 122 version at the end. And this is the rig. You see all the colorful curve is animation control. So animator start you picking this animation control and rotating, translate to make an animation. Okay. So facial is very critical because when you watch the movie, even animation film, you actually focus on the character's face to get the emotion, to get the message. So this is Glen Keane's drawing about Rapunzel. This is a facial expression sheet. And the most important facial is this stretch and squash, to get the extreme, stretch and squash, stretch and squash. So this is something we always have to do in the facial rig to get this character is ready for animation. Okay, so this is my character with a facial rig. So I'm doing this facial squash and stretch test to see if this character has enough range of motion to tell the story, to show the emotion to the audience. Okay. And this is a facial test from the Wish Dragon, which is also in Netflix. So even this is kind of the imaginary character, we need to do the facial test. And this is from the Little Prince. So after we all did this fixing, iteration, and we do this performance test, we put all the elements together and do the performance test with the hair, clothes, body rig, face rig. So that then you can tell that she has some personality. So this is now she's ready to animate. I think in Metaverse also, it's not easy to create an appealing character. So you need a lot of iteration, try and error to get appealing character. That's what I believe. Okay. So now I wanted to talk about my studio, my company. It's called Studio Nowake. Nowake means strong wind in the old Japanese word. So the concept or philosophy behind of my company is yours, art, and technology. You are not just artist, you are not just a technologist, you have both. You need to collaborate. You need to work this art and technology together. So this is a good example. This is the drawing of the Leonardo da Vinci. He's the greatest artist, but this drawing is the invention of the flying object. So he was also great scientist. Okay, this is Walt Disney. He's the greatest cartoonist, but he also inventor, scientist. He invented Disneyland, which is full of the technology. And this is John Lasseter. Like if you work on the animation, he's a god. He said, this is his quote, the art challenges the technology, and the technology inspires the art. I think this is really, really true. And if you are working on the Metaverse, and if you are in charge of the creating character, just reminds this. It's not just art. It's art and technology go together. Okay, so our company creates digital character development. We do rig, shading, hair grooming, animation, model, clothes tailor. This is not only for the animation. You can actually apply to VR, VFX, video game, mobile app, fashion, and esports, and of course, Metaverse. Metaverse may be really, really important to have character because with NFT, this is what we learned today. NFT is kind of ID of you. So you NFT character is yourself in the metaverse, right? So you need a really good digital character development. So what we did is we create rig system in Maya. We started developing this rig system 4 years ago. Now, after this Metaverse Summit, finally we can release this auto-rig tools, auto-rig software in Maya for free for everybody. So if you use this rig system, auto-rig system, you can do iterate very quickly. Then you have this rigging qualities, future animation quality. So there's so many functions, template, mirroring, saving the rigging data. And also we have this quadruped, so you can create a horse or dog. So this is the UI, and then each, a bit small, but every line is a module. So there's so many parameters on each module, because animator always asks something new function or different things. So you can choose what kind of function you want. So when you can rig the build. When you hit the rig button, it's gonna processing building the rig. Well, this is model is they want to have an A pose, but animator want to have a T pose, so you can do the T pose in the animation rig. So this is cartoony spine. You see you can stretch and squash. So this is come for free. Well, FK control for the kinematic. But we have this FK reverse FK. So maybe it's too technical, but you can translate to FK control, not only rotation. Well, IK is inverse kinematic, so you can stretch IK. So everything, this is IK space switching. And bendable control, so you can have like you can make an arc with the arm. So animator pivot is usually rotate, and the only pivot point is the one, but you can change the pivot point. So you can have this rollers to make it faster in the viewport. Now it's a face rig. You have a head squash and stretch control. Those are all come with this rig system for free. So eyelid follows the direction of the eyes, which is kind of the you do. Yeah, this is a part of something, the pose you can make. So these are characters rigged by this Nowake rig system. This is from the Wish Dragon from Netflix. This is a Witness, Love, Death, and Robot. This character is rigged by Nowake rig system. Okay. So also now we are looking into the Unreal 5. So Unreal released control rig to be able to rig the character. So we just started to look into the Unreal Engine to develop the Nowake rig system than Unreal Engine 5, which is maybe more useful for the metaverse. So that's gonna come. We are developing in the Unreal. It's actually really sophisticated architect. Okay. So We made rig tools, but we also wanted to have create a clothes and hair grooming. As you can see in Tangled, I have an idea to create a really nice hair grooming system. Also, we do the character development if you don't have any riggers, modelers, animators in your company. So if you are interested, go to my website, studionowake.com, or send me an email. Thank you so much. Well, if you have any question.
When I look at the Lovebot in the Witness, I just wonder how do you create the commit that look like, how can I say it? The characters that look like comics, and at the same time they look like 3D. Yeah. You know, how do you mix the two?
Well, okay, so the question was the Witness, the Love, Death, and Robot. He said it looks like not realistic. So these non-photorealistic characters is a really, really huge boom in animation right now. After Spider-Verse. Well, by the way, Spider-Verse was designed by Alberto Mielgo as well. So it's, yeah. So what is, how you can make this non-photorealistic look character is texture. You make a texture, looks like a painterly look. So that's the key. And if you watch the Netflix Arcane, that's also or the look is not the photorealistic, non-photorealistic. That's the texture. Yeah, that's the key. You create a texture like a paint. Then play with the lighting.
Hi, is your system compatible with vehicle system or vehicles? Is your rigging tools compatible with vehicles? I see characters, but not vehicles, you know, as, yeah, vehicles.
What's the vehicles?
Vehicles. Cars. Cars. Vehicles.
What's the difference? The vehicle, cars? Yes. My rig system also support prop rig, which is a vehicle or cars. Yeah. Yeah, you can rig the cars, vehicle, yes. If you don't have any other question, well, thank you.